Right, if you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV now to our main conversation. The military regimes in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have announced their immediate withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States. The leaders of the three Sahel nations on Sunday issued a statement saying it was a sovereign decision to leave the Ecowas without delay. Struggling with jihadists, violence, and poverty, the regimes have had tense ties with Ecowas since coups took place in Niger last July, Burkina Faso in 2022, and Mali in 2020. With regards to the suspension from Ecowas, with Niger and Mali facing heavy sanctions, all three countries have hardened their position in recent months and joined forces in an alliance of Sahel states. The Prime Minister, appointed by Niger's military regime on Thursday, blasted ECOWAS for bad faith after the bloc largely shunned a planned meeting in Niamey after an opportunity to talk through differences with fellow states of ECOWAS failed. But in a new development, the ECOWAS bloc said on Sunday that it was ready for a negotiated solution. In its official statement, quote, "The three countries are important members of the community, and the bloc remains committed to finding a negotiation solution to the political impasse," end quote. With me still in the studios with me is Mr. Cyril Abaku. Thank you so very much for also being part of our main conversation today. Now let's go into the main issue. This is a big division in the region. You would agree with me. But the question I'd love to ask is, does that mean that Nigeria, as the father figure of ECOWAS, is losing it gradually?
No, it's not Nigeria. Let me begin my thoughts with the preface that a lot that goes on in Africa, especially West Africa, is proxy war, or war by proxy.
Because something had been allowed. Nature abhors vacuum. So when you say proxy, it's not just that it was proxy as remote. There was a reason for the proxy.
Yes. Proxy in the sense that you only hear African names, but it's largely external powers using African countries as pawns on the chessboard, on the table. First of all, you have the Anglophony, Francophony dichotomy, or Anglophone-Francophone dichotomy is one. Then you have changing the shifting stance of foreign policy in West Africa. So, for example, these three countries that have now pulled off and said they are leaving ECOWAS to form what they call the Alliance of Sahel States, have allegiance to Russia.
Okay.
Previously, they used to be allegiant to France, but now they are aligning with Russia. This is a marked shift in foreign policy initiative
that the West didn't see coming.
Well, it is up to the West to see whether it's but the way the West has acted show that even if they saw it coming, they had underestimated the reality of it happening and going this far. So the question is that because West Africa is the most easily penetrable, you recall the pattern it took from Burkina Faso to Mali and then to Niger. And in all the instances, the coups have largely succeeded. I think somebody is familiar with West Africa's political psychology, can predict how we'll react, knows that even for the so-called ECOWAS and ECOWAS leaders, do you know why they couldn't go for your intro said that they shunned the meeting with Niger in Niamey? You know, well, this is how the writers of the story have chosen to interpret it. But the aircraft that will take them to Niamey developed a technical fault.
Abruptly.
I don't That was the what you call it, the alibi. No, not alibi. That was the reason they gave.
Okay.
I mean, but in international affairs, that's like a joke. That's like saying we don't want to come. So he has developed the technical fault. They couldn't get another aircraft to take them. They couldn't charter a flight. They couldn't find another means. Even if it was not a flight, they would not use any other flight to go to Niamey.
So why are they turning around now to say, okay, we are ready for the negotiation?
No, so because they too arguably wouldn't have imagined that they could go this far within days. Within days. And believe me, it doesn't look to be, see, in our language, they said that when when a blind man tells you to run, it is that beneath his feet, he has trapped a stone. So, Niamey, what's the economic worth? Niger. What's the total side of the economy? Burkina Faso and Mali, with all the sanctions and everything against them. But you see, even in Burkina Faso, it was Burkina Faso. The other day, there was a story about wheat gift or wheat supply from Russia to Burkina, and the man said, and the president in Burkina Faso said it was a priceless gift. It was a priceless treasure from Russia. You see, the mere fact that a coup takes place in West Africa and needs to find a father figure to go and submit or surrender to, either in the East or Western Europe, just shows that the so-called sovereignty we talk about in West Africa is non-existent. We are all client states of one big power or the other. So what else could be giving these people the boldness and the courage to say, well, by the way, Burkina Faso, Niger, and France are found members of ECOWAS. 1975, when Gowon and Nassim Boyadema of Togo, we are going around West Africa saying, they are undertaking the West African evangelism thing, come and join. Say they are, as they call it in French, communauté économique and so on, pour développement, West Africa. The Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger were founding members of ECOWAS. Did you see what they said yesterday? They said that ECOWAS had drifted from its original Pan-African vision, which could be further from the truth. But even during the coup in Niger in July last year, you remember that first of all, Kamala Harris called President Tinubu on the phone to assure him, because the fear was growing, and I will come to that. The fear was growing, and Kamala Harris called Tinubu on the phone to encourage him and strengthen. And they said, Mr. Tinubu, it is Americans that are pushing you to find an enemy in Niger after the coup. Because clearly it was America and the West didn't quite welcome the fact that a rival of theirs was now going to become the new parent of the regime in Niger. These things have undertones, okay, which are very clear for anybody to see if you're a watcher of international politics. All right, so I was also particularly perturbed that a coup couldn't come so close to our borders and won't do anything about it.
Because that was why I asked in my first question if Nigeria as a country, as a big brother, have lost it.
Oh no, of course.
Knowing that it is in our place to ensure that this bloc is held together, but we are not doing it. And I love you as you answer it. I love you to put into perspective also. Do you think the legitimacy of Tinubu is equally a factor in this? How do they see it? Do they respect his legitimacy as a president of Nigeria, knowing that everyone knew what happened in February 25th of 2020?
Well, when is everyone knew what happened? His election was contested in court, which is the normal thing to do in a democracy. It was the Supreme Court of Nigeria said that he was the winner. I can't put my finger in the mouth of the judges or the justices. The highest court of the land has said that Tinubu won the election. So,
but that is not a magic wand to what people.
So in South Africa,
yes,
when the hue and cry over invading Niger became very strong, I believe that was the handwork of another superpower, because in South Africa on SABC, which is the state-owned media corporation, the presenter was analyzing. I think the president was analyzing how Tinubu's lack of legitimacy in Nigeria was weakening his intervention in Niger.
Exactly.
No. But it is not for us. Look, you see, a journalist has to be able to also understand the fact that facts are one, opinion is another.
Okay.
So, for example, when you say February, I don't know what evidence you personally have, I say that maybe in my polling there was violence. And as a result of that, that was what made the whole election not to be winnable by Tinubu in the whole country. There are ways to go about these things. But for a presenter to debate on the main issue, now you must understand that South Africa is a BRICS country. Meaning that South Africa is in alliance with Russia.
Okay.
There will not be a coup in Southern Africa because South Africa is the father of Southern Africa, as Nigeria is to West Africa. Okay. So, and as far as South Africa is in line, is attuned with Russia, and really Southern Africa does not have a history of coups. All right. So largely, Southern Africa is one of the spheres of South Africa. When two superpowers are in alliance, one does not go against the other. But why was the presenter on South Africa's national TV attacking Tinubu? It tells me that there could be another person speaking through that voice.
You think so?
Well, so you now bring this down to if a coup, if your neighbor's house is on fire, I think that you need to take reasonable measures to prevent that fire from spreading to your own roof. The real issue, as I want to enter into it, is this. You know, when President Tinubu said that there was need for us to restore democracy in Niger, if necessary, with the use of force.
Invasion,
Nigerians opposed it.
Yeah.
And it's understandable. I didn't oppose it. And till tomorrow, I can tell you why
you had wanted the invasion to happen.
Well, I wanted some measure of restraint, some measure of action. If democracy is worth it, if we believe that we prefer democracy to the rule of the iron fist.
Incorruptible democracy, that is.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
No, is the military incorruptible? Is the military incorruptible? That's one. Democracy is not a stamp out against corruption. It is people that make democracy work. All right? So democracy could even start out very weak and ineffective, but if you let it to thrive and board, it will become good. Now, there was a coup. You see, the cartography of the coup was moving from Burkina Faso, or is it Mali first? Either of the two.
Yeah, Mali,
it was
Burkina
moving.
Faso.
It was moving. The Sahel countries. It was moving. In fact, the landlocked. I think that whoever was writing the script somewhere first targeted the landlocked countries because there was a stronger anti-French sentiment in those countries than there is anti-Anglophone. There's anti-England sentiment. England doesn't interfere much in the affairs of our former colonies, but France does, right? Yeah. You go to those countries, they don't have their currency is one, no central bank. Yeah. There is even a ministry of whatever it is for Africa for francophone countries in the office of the French president. Everything France says is what they do. Okay, so over time there had come to be a very strong anti-French sentiment. So what the writers of that script did was to target the French countries, the French African, the francophone countries first, and in each of these countries, people came. In Burkina Faso, people came, and by the Burkina Faso coup was staged with WhatsApp. People came out on the streets, celebrating and holding the Russian flag and saying, and singing Russia's praise. Then they went and attacked the French embassy. The same thing happened, I think, in Mali. Same thing happened in Niger. Where this coup is marching from country to country to country, and it has come to a country that sharing border with you. Unless you don't value democracy, you don't think you should take reasonable action to still. The military action may not even be to remove the junta, but to say, as Bible says in Job 30 verse 11, thus far have you come, but no further.
Okay.
It may not be that we kick out the regime, but it will say you have come far and long enough. Don't move any further. Do you get what I'm saying? It's commonsensical for me. But you see, years of corruption, debilitating and crippling corruption in Nigeria, lack of national focus, lack of national dream, lack of national values, lack of any faith in democracy anymore, lack of opportunities, lack of jobs. Nigerians have resigned to say, you know what, this country is evil. So when Tinubu came and said, they were asked, what are they going to protect? What is the Nigerian pride of to protect that we share? You don't get? What is the thing that you're going to fight for Nigeria? What is just Nigeria? What is the common thing about Nigeria that all of us are cherishing and believing that we need to defend it in Niger? So Nigerians say, you know what, this was democracy one can defend. Leave us alone, don't send our children to war. You get your own children to go and fight in Niger. Nigerians didn't want it because over many years, we've become warrior and weary of our lack of direction as a state, as a country. That was the real reason why Nigerians didn't want to fight. Nigerians said, Tinubu, don't waste your time because, and then what did the North now say? The North now fired the first coronation December that Tinubu mind the business. An attack on Niger is an attack on the North.
On the North.
Allow us, leave them. It was the Sultan of Sokoto, Muslim clerics, and the former head of state, Abdel Abubakar, that traveled to broker peace. And you wonder, for a country, for a democracy, for a republic, for a nation that truly should be, that ought to be a nation, what did we see? We saw a descent into jingoism, into bigotry, into clannishness, into provincialism, crass provincialism. When these things are on the table, what will the president? It means in effect that this president is even, he doesn't have all the powers that he thinks he has. Otherwise, what happened now? Did you notice that after the coup in what's it called in Niger, there was another coup in Gabon.
True.
Again, anti-French. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It didn't take. There was another attempted coup in Sierra Leone, which means that they are shifted from the landlocked country. They were now going to the to the ones on the coast. Nigeria is on the coast. So to look at what is going on and not imagine that Nigeria has something to fight for, or something to live for, may be suitable to sentiment. But as far as the facts are on the table, I don't think it is proper for us to keep. In fact, that a foreign power could aid and abet or sponsor a coup at the doorstep of another sovereign power, of what should ideally be another superpower, at least even if it's a regional superpower, shows that you are taking in spite and that it don't matter. You ought to provide consequence for such action.
All right, so Mr. Cyril, with the current emperors, where does this leave the ECOWAS and how weak would that look like?
No, so the reality is that ECOWAS does not even have the capacity to provide all the consequences. Because by now they should have crippled at least one of those economies. They should have been able to force those juntas to be able to. You see, if America was at loggerheads with you, they used everything they had to make you come back to your senses.
We're talking about three nations.
Three nations that said they are taking a sovereign decision.
Yes.
It was not sovereign. It was not sovereign. As a matter of fact, in international relations, belonging to an international body is a limitation of sovereignty.
Okay.
That's what this is basic SS1, SS2 government. As a member of the AU or ECOWAS, you are supposed to abide by the rules and regulations of ECOWAS and the AU.
Okay.
Ideally, as a sovereign nation, nobody should be able to dictate anything to you whatsoever.
True.
But once you're part of these bodies, you can be suspended, you can be disciplined, which means that you submit to another union of your sovereignty for the sake of peace and good. So they came and said that they were taking a tripartite, that their own trilateral body or trilateral agreement was sovereign. Sovereign in what sense?
But that's the fact we have on the ground right now.
No.
And it's staring right in our faces.
In our face. But we know that in this world, in internationalism, no nation can stand all by itself and say, what do you have? Nuclear weapon, you don't have. Strong army, you don't have. You even have economic sanctions on your neck. Industries, you don't have. You don't have anything to back in. You see the man in North Korea always talking and threatening. You think he doesn't have anything? You know he has something.
Yeah, of course.
So he has enough to make you look and look at him and say, please, I don't want your trouble. What do they have?
Yes.
They have something by other means. They have it indirectly.
Okay.
It's not America. It's not China. It's not France. It's not NATO. It's not Britain. I'm counting the world, the nuclear powers of the world.
Yeah.
It's not Pakistan. It's not India.
But it's Russia.
Well, you are the one who has said it.
But the question here is, if really there's nothing to lose there, why is the ECOWAS now going hand in cap, begging them and asking them, okay, I'm ready for negotiation?
No, there's some, I don't know, maybe it's we have communicated, but there's some So ECOWAS can't do, because if ECOWAS kept quiet, has the specter of coups passed, there could be another coup. When ECOWAS condemns the coup, suspends them, what does the person do? He will go and join them and become the fourth country. Right? The only reason why the coup in Gabon didn't happen, why the Gabon coupists are not joining with these three countries,
yes,
apart from geographical considerations, probably, there are insinuations that the Gabon coup is the only non-Russian aligned or Russophilic coup, as it were.
So where is it tilted to it?
Well, I can't say, but it appears that the coupists in Gabon have friends in the West.
Oh, okay.
So these are stark realities. You recall that there was a particular coup in Nigeria, in which an American president came and gave our own president a copy of a book and said, "Welcome to power." Back in the 80s.
Okay.
Henry. So it's not that straightforward and simple. In the end, I want to hope that ECOWAS is able to play its politics right and get these countries back into the fold, because we're better off together than apart.
So finally, if as it stands now, if the center refuses to hold, where does that leave the ECOWAS and the sub-region?
No, but
going forward.
Okay, so first, yes. So first, it's not easy to form a body, a sub-regional body like they're trying to do. It takes a lot more than just the will to do it. There are some very stark issues: resources, recognition, affiliations, trade partnerships, and so on. It's not that easy.
Oh, okay.
It's never that easy. That's why. I mean, the Warsaw Pact collapsed. For example, the Warsaw Pact that was supposed to be a counterweight to NATO, it collapsed. Internationalism is not very straightforward. You need more than just what you think you need. You need everything plus any other thing else that you can need. So it's not that easy. That's one. Then number two is the fact that I don't see this thing, because if now you have a body and that is what I think the external powers want to achieve, a body that counters ECOWAS and divides West Africa and sort of create, so say there are two bodies now that in that sort of, and if the Sahelian coalition now has even more members than ECOWAS, for example, or has reasonable members than, it's not going to augur well for the optics of the politics of the sub-region. So ECOWAS has to now move very fast to see how they're able to get them. But again, I think the real challenge is that these people are not even interested in coming up with timetable for return to
democracy.
Civil, and the fact that ECOWAS itself does not seem to be taking sovereign decisions, in quote, as the three countries in the Sahel coalition are taking their own sovereign decisions. We don't know who is sovereign and who is not sovereign. What we know is that in a lot of cases, it is the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob.
Very, very true. Very, very, very true. Just like it's often said, the nature abhors a vacuum. And the reason why we have many of this unity in our regions and our sub-regions is because of the lack of will from those in authority to do what needs to be done to ensure that rule of law is respected, to ensure that people in those countries see reasons to be proud of the countries that they have. We pray that we would have a quick solution to all of this political and economic problem that we have in our sub-region. I'd love to say thank you to Mr. Cyril Abaku for being part of our program today.
My
and
pleasure.
for being insightful with your very awesome discussion. And to you watching, we'd love to say thank you so very much also for being part of our time. And also do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Follow, comment, and like on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV S7. I am Henry Igobika. I'll see you tomorrow for yet another conversation.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.